It's Rick and Sasha with George Wilborn. And Sasha, the world made this video go viral of a police officer pointing a gun at teenagers. And the
Yeah.
first thing we thought was, here we go again.
And as we watch the videos of these young children and a gun being pointed, you could hear the residents screaming frantically, put the gun down, don't shoot him, don't kill him. I got to tell you, my heart, I was like, oh my God. I mean, I was devastated watching it, and I was mad as hell at these daggone police officers.
And after watching the video, it was kind of like, oops, upside your head. You should have seen the video from the beginning to the end to make an assumption. And that's what we all did, right? That's what we all did.
We
and
did.
This officer, who has no name at the moment,
We can't.
he did what we expect law enforcement to do, to make sure these kids are safe. And he did his job from A to Z. And he's not going to be on the screen, but with us right now is Clayton County Chief Kevin Roberts. Kevin, how are you?
All right. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for being with
Kevin,
us.
I know you've been a chief in that Clayton County for about how long now?
2.5 years.
Okay.
Wow.
So when you first heard of this incident and saw that it went viral and these young kids with a gun pointed and you reviewed everything, what were you feeling and what were you thinking?
When I saw the initial submission, I was concerned. It was sent to me during the night prior to the workday. And I knew that it wasn't everything because it didn't come from our agency, and we have a responsibility to our community to be transparent. So the next day, my mission was to get in as soon as possible with my staff, review the associated body camera, and then make decisions about what our next steps were.
Wow. The officer on the scene, he was amazing. He was so calm while the public were screaming all sorts of obscenities at him. They were afraid because the gun was there. I mean, to me, it's like we are suffering so much from PTSD from what we've seen. We were not even able to really think, you know. But after seeing that video, how was that officer so easy to keep his composure through all of that?
He fell back on his training and his experience.
Right.
And while the incident viewed alone initially is disturbing, that's part of his job, and he's trained to handle that. And when you talk to him, he'll let you know in his words, sometimes, many times, the streets are not so forgiving. So you have to strike a balance between your safety and keeping everyone else around you safe. And that's what he did at the highest level.
Right.
Well, I have to tell you that I cannot wait to speak to this officer. And just so you know, we can't even put him on camera because he is getting death threats. Yeah. And that is very serious. He is a family. I'm not sure if he has children. So we would love to speak to him and just get his perspective of what happened.
I apologize for the background phone ringing. But as a result of this whole incident, when everyone jumped to make a decision, there was a post made to flood our phone lines and have this officer fired. And I know it was very premature. So if you hear the phone ringing, this is a couple of days after we put everything out and we're totally transparent. There are still folks calling here demanding that he be removed. He's not.
No,
he did it.
I wholeheartedly disagree with them.
Stop calling.
Right.
She says, stop calling. He's not going to be fired.
Right. So the officer's in the background right now. He can't be on the camera, but officer, are you there?
I'm here. Thank you for having me.
Good. First of all, we want to commend you for the excellent job you did. If I were you, I don't care how old they were, I would have done the same exact thing you did. You found out that there was a gun from the store owner. What were your thoughts in that moment?
What I thought was it was a high priority call, which dictated my response. But in the back of my mind, I did take into consideration it was children. And when I did encounter them, my first thought was to gain control. Once I gained control and compliance, I went to the low ready, and now my job was to make sure they understood where I was coming from and to keep them focused on me and not for things to escalate. It's just unfortunate that the crowd came out of nowhere before I could even do my job and go into what I was doing, and it just went left from there, you know?
Right.
Officer, with what has been happening worldwide and what happened with George Floyd, as the world watched him be murdered, you could understand why the crowd was behaving that way, correct?
What happened in Minnesota was a tragedy and it was wrong. However, that's not the reputation of Clayton County. So it's unfortunate that people would come to pre-notions and judgments of something that they didn't even have no factual basis to make those opinions on.
Right. We saw another video, and we'll talk about that a little later. But let me ask you something, officer. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, you're a human being. What were you going through at that moment with all of these people around you yelling? I mean, how did you manage to keep a cool head? Was there a part of you that felt a little uncomfortable as you were telling people, hey, don't worry about them?
I wanted to keep the kids safe and me safe, but it became real dangerous with the crowd because now I had to shift my body and look back at them and make sure nobody from the crowd was going to assault me or kill me.
Right.
So it's one of those situations that made it extremely difficult because instead of being good witnesses and just recording the interaction and make sure everything was to satisfaction, a narrative started getting put out there, and that just took the whole direction of what I was trying to accomplish on another level.
Right.
Once backup came to help you with this whole situation, and you were still talking to the children and the other officers and the people around, were they still being aggressive towards you?
Absolutely. If you review the full body camera video, you see as I'm walking back to my car, they're still engaging me. You see when I get to the store, there's still people in the background engaging me. So I had a job to do, and that was my overall purpose and mission. So my focus was on the kids and dispelling this call that we had got in regarding teenagers brandishing a weapon in front of a convenience store on a busy intersection.
There's a part of me that wanted to say, and, you know, of course, we don't do what you guys do, and you can't say what we would say. There's a part of me that felt like, well, if I were the officer, I would have said, listen, people, this is a serious situation. We heard that these kids may have a gun. I care about them, but I have to make sure, and I'm just doing my job. That's what I would say. But to you, it's not like that. I mean, why isn't it? Why, just out of curiosity, why isn't it just that easy just to kind of explain to people what's going on?
Because you're in the heat of the moment. I don't have time to explain to somebody while I'm in the moment.
Right.
I mean, by all means, had the young lady approached me or said, hey, I would like to talk to you, I would have did that. But she didn't even give me a chance to complete my overall mission and handle the call. So it's unfortunate that she put her narrative out there, but I'm glad the body camera footage was available.
Officer, how do you feel? I can't imagine getting a death threat. I'm not sure if you're a family man or if you have children. How are you dealing with that in your family right now?
Well, I have my department that supports me and they're behind me. And my family understands what I do, so I have support from them. And it's unfortunate, but these are the times that we live in. And we can't let people dictate how we live our lives. So we just have to go about our lives like we normally would.
Yeah. I tell you what's also unfortunate is that the family did a press conference, and I understand the kid saying he was afraid for his life. He's a kid. Anytime someone has a gun pointed, you're going to feel that way. But for the family to kind of push it a little further, I honestly think that's unfair. Because when I saw that video towards the end, then I wanted to give you a hug. I'm like, that's how you're supposed to do it, brother. That is how you're supposed to do it, man. And more than anything, we as black people, we got to stick together. So with all those other white officers around, I love that even more because you didn't allow them to take control of this situation. You wanted to make sure that those boys felt comfortable. They knew they were safe, and I really love the fact that you said, "Hey, just talk to us, let us know what's going on. You guys are going to be okay." You made them feel comfortable. How did it feel to you, seeing that the family then went to press and wanted to make a big deal out of this?
Well, it's unfortunate that the family went to press because that young man in the video, the weapon is tossed to him. But that's neither here nor there. The thing that really disappointed me is that the child didn't go home and immediately tell his parent about what had transpired. He was so traumatized. Right. But the thing that we got to understand is that, things happen. Things happen for a reason. I wanted to keep the young men safe. I wanted to get home. My concern was with them. I wanted to educate them and provide them with guidance because these are rough times that we're in right now.
Absolutely.
And I don't think it's beneficial to be out there with a replica weapon that looks very authentic, where an officer would have to make a split decision and decide if it's not. So I would hope parents would take accountability and notice of that we got to do a better job with something like that because we don't need tragedies to unfold.
Absolutely.
Chief Kevin Roberts, he segued right into it. We have to make sure we are telling the whole story, and we have to make sure that parents know what their kids are doing and understanding about what a BB gun is. A BB gun looks like a gun, and a police officer does not know the difference. We need to talk about that more in our community.
We do. And actually, we've had these conversations already. And I think, at least in the Clayton County community, and I think that's what helps our officers, like this officer, perform in the manner that they do. And make no mistakes about it, there was a lot of negative comments and statements made about the agency, about the officer initially. But when we place all the facts out and we're totally transparent, the pendulum swung and is still swinging, and we have many supporters in the community that support the agency and support this officer, and they are standing strong and standing up for what's right. Now, I only ask that law enforcement across the board be offered the opportunity to explain.
Right. Well, Officer Friendly in the background, we don't know your name. We won't say your name. And Chief,
love you.
Chief Kevin Rhodes, thank you all for your time. And listen, keep doing that. And Chief, yes. I can't assume, but I hope you guys continue to set the bar and allow videos like this to be seen. That listen, law enforcement, they're not so bad. They're not so bad. And I'm glad that video did exist, man. You're running a tight ship over there, and we appreciate you.
And also, Chief Roberts, to use that video in educating other officers in your department on this is some of the ways of how you handle a situation. And I understand every situation is different, but this can be very educational to your staff because that man did a fantastic job and we will love him forever. Love you, boo, back there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Listen, before we go, is there anything else you want to share with everyone? Because this is going to be all over the place.
Give your officers a chance. Get involved in your police department. We have a great Citizens Police Academy at our agency. And once our citizens engage and learn what we do as a police department, a lot of them feel empowered and they have the opportunity during that engagement to make recommendations about how we can make changes and improve what we're doing here. And I would want to believe across the nation with those agencies that have similar programs, they're open to that type of dialogue and interaction, and it creates a nexus between the law enforcement agency and the community.
Chief Kevin Roberts, thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.